I thought CM Punk and Tony Khan had the most toxic relationship in pro wrestling. Then WWE and Sasha Banks said, girl, please.
Hold up. It's a black-owned business in the wrestling business? Pro wrestling bits, let's go.
Sasha Banks might be back on the outs with WWE after she changed her Twitter handle to Mercedes Varnado. I don't think you heard me. Sasha Banks changed her whole Twitter handle. This is serious. It's the equivalent of Beyonce walking around without her wedding ring. By changing her Twitter handle to Mercedes Varnado, Banks seems to be distancing herself from WWE like they were one of those male fans at a meet and greet. Of course, Sasha Banks changing her Twitter name is already getting worldwide news coverage.
Because on Wednesday night, eagle-eyed WWE fans took a break from piecing together WWE's cryptic white rabbit QR codes to notice that Banks' Twitter handle has been changed from @Sasha Banks WWE to her real name of @Mercedes Varnado.
Sasha Banks is now Mercedes Varnado on Twitter. So this is literally the extent of this story. She has changed her Twitter handle.
Sasha Banks, or Mercedes Varnado as her name actually is, has changed her Twitter handle from Sasha Banks WWE to simply Mercedes Varnado.
Okay, what is this, Downton Abbey? God save the white queen, but can I please hear some niggas talking about this black queen?
But the real question of the week is, what's going on with Mercedes Varnado?
There you go. Say her name. Say her name. Blah, blah, blah.
Sasha Banks. She decided she was going to change her Twitter to her government name, Mercedes Varnado.
Maybe Sasha is trying to carve a path in Hollywood as Mercedes. After all, she was at the CAA Young Hollywood party, and they don't invite just anybody to those. Maybe she's in a fight over ownership of the Sasha Banks name and is trying to prove a point. But as recently as Clash at the Castle, Sasha and Naomi appeared to be on deck to return any day now, in conjunction with the return of the women's tag titles. They forced their way out of Vince McMahon's WWE, but with so many Triple H era favorites returning, it felt like only a matter of time before Sasha and Naomi were going to follow suit. Because time heals all wounds, unless you're Sasha Banks and WWE apparently. Sasha first left WWE high and dry by doing her best impression of Wendy Williams and no-showing the Wendy Williams show. Sasha Banks needed a mental health break. Check that. Mercedes Varnado needed a mental health break after losing herself in the toxic world of pro wrestling. Banks came back, but then came May, and Banks walked out. This time in style, when Sasha and Naomi dropped the tag titles like it was hot and walked out of WWE Raw during the broadcast. Sasha and Naomi have been joined at the hip ever since. And for those of you waiting for Sasha Banks' imminent return, keep waiting. Things remain quiet on the Sasha front, but if you follow her social media activity and you've got your ears to the streets like me, a Sasha Banks return doesn't sound like it's in the cards anytime soon. It's anybody's guess, really, and at this point, Sasha feels just as likely to show up in AEW as she does in WWE. Tony Khan is hell-bent on fixing the women's division. He's putting women's segments in better time slots. AEW trademarked the term All Elite Women. Saraya is here now, and she's calling for a revolution. AEW's women's division is one Mercedes away from finally being a driving force, and as long as the booking holds up, maybe AEW will finally be able to create some more women's stars. I mean, do you hear those chants for Jamie Hayter or not? Having said that, if Tony Khan taught us anything this September, it's that he's not the best at dealing with strong-minded personalities. Similar to Cousin Phil, an unhappy Sasha Banks would eat Tony Khan alive. While Tony Khan is working through locker room morale issues, does he really want to take a risk on an ex-WWE star with a history of clashing with management? Does Tony Twitterfingers really want all that smoke? More importantly, is Mercedes Varnado done with WWE or done with wrestling altogether? Banks' Hollywood profile is beginning to take off after landing a major role in The Mandalorian, and maybe the pro wrestling business is too much of a trigger for Banks. Just like backstage drama imploded AEW this month, the same can happen to WWE in the Triple H era as it's widened its gap against AEW. AEW attendance was down 25% in July and August compared to the 2 months prior. WWE's attendance was up 21%. In that same time frame, AEW ratings are up 8%, while WWE ratings are up 12%. If there are once again tensions, and Sasha Banks and WWE can't get on the same page, maybe Triple H figures that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. With all the egos in the AEW locker room, unleashing Sasha Banks on Tony Khan might even qualify as a strategic move for WWE. That is, if she decides AEW is worth her time before she jets off to Hollywood to take all of Zoe Kravitz's roles. Just like Roman Reigns will take Jason Momoa's roles. Damn, WWE's gonna mess around and make that whole family unemployed. And just remember, anything people say about Sasha Banks being difficult or a diva, you need to keep that same energy for Cousin Phil. Because CM Punk is in a whole other league when it comes to that.